Like, I don't get marketing still. Don't get it.
Sales and marketing. That's transphobic. And I'm like, I wasn't even thinking of that.
And that really frustrating.
Shall we change it? Is there a secret formula to it? And compliance is fucking boring. The biggest problem we have is nobody is going to sell our products like me. They're much more worse than what TikTok does, surely. Some of that crap on there, and these people just dancing. I don't get it. I don't get that. What's that all about?
This is John.
And this is Nick.
And this is How It Is.
Let's talk about sales and marketing. What do you mean? What's that even supposed to mean?
It's for, like, things for sales and marketing is I don't get marketing still. Don't get it. And what I mean by that is, like, there's some stuff you put time and effort into it and it goes absolutely nowhere. And then some stuff that's goofy does. But then even then it's like, do the likes and the comments and stuff, does that make an impact on sales? Is it branding? But then is it good branding? Like, you know, it's just kind of like, it's like a dark art, isn't it? It's like Stoke City on a cold Tuesday night. It's like the dark
so there's so many questions to be answered there, and so many questions you've asked. So, number one, it's very, very difficult with regards to our sector. Number one, compliance. Am I allowed to swear? Fuck
it, why not?
Yeah. Compliance is fucking boring, right? Yeah. I don't know. They'll beep that out, I'm sure. It's really fucking boring. So when we first started up, you know, we never give each other job titles and stuff. And I said, look, I'll take care of LinkedIn. I had to reopen my account on Facebook. You were quite well known on that, very well known on there. So I opened that back up. And I kind of did the same posts on both, with different results. What we find from, going back to it, our market as well is, compliance is boring, but it's also a business to business. So do we get direct sales from it? Very rarely, very rarely that we can actually analyze that. We can get that data back. The difference, again, between LinkedIn and Facebook is that we've gained a lot of partners from that, a hell of a lot of partners. And I think that's because they find us approachable. So has it worked? I'd say yes, it has. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping you. I shouldn't do that. You'll have to beep that out.
It was the cherry bacon.
No, it wasn't the cherry bacon. It was the cola. Not allowed to use a brand name.
No.
And it was a Christmas Bakewell as well. Anyway.
Hold on. What's the difference between a normal cherry Bakewell and a Christmas Bakewell?
Oh, I can tell you. There's no cherry on a Christmas Bakewell. There is.
It's a red nose.
No. Oh. Well, you'd think so. You'd think that they would just do that and brand it, or just put like two little eyes on it as be Rudolph, wouldn't you? But it's not. It's actually just hundreds of thousands. Okay. Why do they call them hundreds of thousands?
Because there's hundreds and thousands of them.
Yeah, but there's like, you could have just called them like sprinkles. Couldn't you? Wouldn't that be better? Like, kind of like candy sprinkles.
That conversation sums up our marketing, actually.
Yeah. So, there you go. So the marketing, you're absolutely right in what you're saying. Sometimes I sit in front of my PC, giggling my little backside off, like a little schoolgirl, going, "This is the funniest thing I've ever done in my life." And I get like one thumbs up, one like, and I'm like devastated. Then I'll do something literally off the bat, don't even think about it, put it out there, and it just goes mental. And people going, "Oh, that's amazing." So I get, is there a secret formula to it? I don't know if there actually is. I love watching people like Rory Sutherland, who has the psychology around a lot of marketing and stuff like that. But I've been late comer to his kind of content, and I mean only this year.
But doesn't that say something in itself? I think, well, two things it says is, one, consistency people go on about, and I think you have to just, keep doing it. But I think the other thing is, it's always about a person. Like when you've done funny stuff, I guess people are like, oh, do you know what? They seem like nice guys to deal with.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you try and really say what you do and stuff, people aren't really interested. That it's more about us talking about things. And when you say about me spending time on Facebook over the years, even before we started the compliance guys, just helping people, maybe that was almost my personal brand, is just someone who genuinely wants to help people. And then for when you do business, they're like, well, I want to do business with the people who genuinely care.
Yeah.
I think what I really struggle with marketing is that I find sales really easy. I know that sounds a strange thing, but because I always see sales as process, discipline, and a bit of psychology, how people think, I can get my head around. I could sell anything as long as I knew the product, what process to put in, the psychology behind the buying. Yeah. And marketing just feels like you can have all the formulas and never get it right. You see these people going, oh, marketing's got a formula, you do this and this and this. That's fine if you've already got 1 million followers. Yeah. It's that bit to get there. Very few people get there. And so there's loads of people doing content that literally has got no engagement.
My marketing's been slagged off in the past. Sometimes I've pushed it a little bit
That's
too
because
far.
People haven't seen some of the stuff you wanted to put out.
Absolutely. But then there was one when we did I should say, Barbie was out, and Barbie was the movie. Barbie Heimer, is it was going on, or was it Oppen Barbie? Is it Oppenheimer and Barbie at the same time?
Yeah.
But everybody wanted to talk about Barbie. And my kids always said to me, Dad, fair play with you, with your marketing. You were always on the ball with the latest meme. 1 week, 1 day even after that meme, and you're too late to the party, and you just look like an idiot. But you're on it. That's always stuck with me, is that we have to keep it. So Barbie came out, and then I found, through the marketing that we use, I got a picture of 2 Barbies in a box, and I put our faces on there. And then a lender come back to us, isn't it? And they're going, that's transphobic. And I'm like, I wasn't even thinking of that. That did not even cross my mind. Why would that's looking to be offended? And I'm like, no, that's just taking the.
We're taking the big out of ourselves.
Yeah, it was taking the piss out of me and you. And that's the way it is. But then it comes to a point of, our brand is amazing. Well, what have we discussed this year? Shall we change it? Should we change the colors? Do we need to freshen up? What do we need to do?
But that's kind of what I'm saying. So, when you say you put out stupid stuff and people there's loads of people going, oh, that's brilliant, that's funny, the rest of it. But does that move the needle in business? All right, it might go, they seem nice guys, they're people I want to deal with and stuff. But in some ways, you want to be able to put out the boring stuff and go, this is what we do, not just for our own sake, but this is how we can help you. We want to make an impact on your business. We want to take satisfaction in what we do. But instead you get satisfaction out of seeing our faces on Barbie dolls. I honestly find that really frustrating.
I think there's got to be a balance to it, and that's what I've been trying to do, especially in 2024, is pull myself away from it a bit more. So I just have that kind of, I'm overlooking it a bit. We have Louisa, who does 5 posts a week on various social media. She gets us. She totally gets us. And especially with the Formula One stuff and any motor racing, especially with our sponsorship that we do.
Oh, shout out to Alicia.
Yep.
Alicia Palmowski. Is it Palmowski or Palmowski? I never quite know. Palmowski.
Yeah.
Who has got a seat with Red Bull Racing in F1 Academy for next year.
Well done.
Absolutely brilliant.
So, and I have a chat with her father tomorrow, so that's probably going to cost us a lot of money, but hey, we'll see. Anyway, with regards to the sponsorship, she's very good with that. But going back to the sponsorship, do we get any direct sales from it? Well, number one, there's no way of knowing. Number two, probably not. It's getting that brand awareness out there. And us just talking about it, just saying, great thing with motor racing, because our core market is the car dealer, and motorsport being there. We tried boxing, boxers, they fight.
That's just because I like boxing.
Yeah, but they have 2 fights a year, and then
They're in the gym, head down,
and that's it. You don't have much from it. With the motor racing, they're racing every other week or every week. They practicing. They got that. There's loads of content going out there, so it's always great to keep in the public eye. But it goes back to, do we keep it jokey, jovial, or serious? And I think we need to, or what I'm aiming for now is to have that nice balance of a bit of both. So we are still approachable, but then we can get serious as well.
I think it feels like we need to separate things out. So like me and you almost do the personal branding. And if people find our business, they can go and go, what do these guys do? And then see it in a more structured manner.
Well, that's exactly what this is now.
That's why we've invested in the marketing department.
Yeah. And we got a marketing department. So what you guys don't see, the production crew in the background is Saskia sitting behind these cameras there. We got a new start to come in again in January, who's very much into the analysis and the numbers and the even the psychology of the marketing. So that's going to take us in a nice direction also.
So what about sales?
Well,
sales has changed a load since me and you did it. I think one of the hardest transitions is not letting go of sales because you have a look over it. But kind of like sometimes how you transition your knowledge and taking sales calls and stuff into getting other people to understand it. That's quite a challenge.
The biggest problem we have is nobody is going to sell our products like me and you. Nobody. Because we know everything about this company inside out. Everything. And you can go back to another question about business of that. Whenever I've kind of been the head of a company or, a manager or stuff like that, that part of the business and you're an expert in that. What doesn't prepare you for being a business owner is that you have to be the accountant, the HR, the recruitment, the managers, the sales, the everything, even down to the cleaning. I was in here at 7:30 this morning and I'm emptying out the bins and turning on the heating for everybody and the lights and stuff. But it's, going back to the sales, when we talk to each other, talk to our customers, I should say, the way that we do it is by always being approachable, and we've always made, if somebody wants to speak to us on a Saturday night at 9:00, great, I'll speak to them at Saturday night at 9:00 and we'll get the deal done. Our salespeople don't feel the same way about it as we do, but that's their prerogative, it's their own time. But when somebody says to me, I want to be FCA authorized, you go, okay, tell me your story. And then really they want to know 3 things. How much input do they have to have on that whole application? How long is it going to take? And how much is it going to cost? And that's it. You just narrow it down to that.
It's not just that though.
It's not just that. Is it? Come on, you tell me then.
Well, because like what I said earlier about psychology of sales and stuff, it's kind of like it's linking that price to the value to that person. It's not just that how much and how long. It's the why behind those things and the impact. Another thing that I always find interesting, people go, you've got a compliance company that does sales.
Yeah.
But I think that's also where we're a bit different because I think with compliance, it's always been you speak to a consultant. But because some of our business is quite transactional in that I wanted to get authorized, we almost do need salespeople because you might call it buying enablement or something fancy, but ultimately in any business, you've got to be able to sell your services.
Absolutely.
And so we've always realized that, enabling buying is a really important part because often people don't understand what they need. They just know that they need finance. Finance.
Yeah. And again, I think something that we've found problematic is that, our customers don't value what we do, and they don't see, there's somebody on one of the forums this morning saying, I'll wait until you get your next sale. Like I replied to them and going, we're not going to do it. We did a Black Friday deal. You've missed that. you're not going to get another Black
I think
Friday.
that's the first time we've ever done an offer, isn't
Yeah, it was
it?
the first time we've ever done it. And this guy now wants to wait because he tells us that we are going to have a Christmas sale or a New Year sale.
And it was news to me.
Yeah, me too. And I said to him, like, mate, you're going to be waiting a long time. You're going to actually wait until next Black Friday, which is 2025. If we do one, we probably will. I think we probably will.
Please don't
maybe.
wait till then.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Again, we may not. The price of it may. Who knows what the FCA will do? They may put the price up by another 500%, like they did.
Or the complexity.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, people don't realize that. We've had discussions of, do we stop doing the authorizations because of the sheer complexity and how much time and effort it actually takes to do that.
Yeah.
And again, when people then say, oh, I want it for £500 less, and we're going, no, I can get it cheaper. Fine. That's fine.
Well, it's
But you
just
won't
like,
get it back.
just like you don't buy a car for free and make the whole amount, there's costs and value and time and everything else
and a
and
huge
experience.
amount.
and
Yeah,
stuff, isn't it?
absolutely. So sales, I think we could improve on it. I think we're starting to do a lot more training now, a lot more call listening. We have a good partner who's got like sales scripts, which we will write and we can build that in, and then we can actually assess our sales agents on what they've said, what they should have said, what they didn't say. That's also involved into like, vulnerables and vulnerabilities and stuff, which doesn't really work for us. But can we be better? Yeah. Are there going to be changes with regards to the marketing? Definitely. So just wait and see. Really.
Are you going to stop doing crazy shit though on your LinkedIn?
I think there's a time and a place for it. I think there's definitely a time and a place for it. And I think I did one the other day. I can't remember who. I can't even remember what it was. I did it. I said, we have to jump on top of this. We have to do it now. And then Louisa did it. I can't remember what one it was though. Can you remember?
Well, I tell you what, one thing we could ask the viewers or listeners to comment on is whether we should make a video, and you'll know which video I'm talking about. It's the one you've always wanted to do. Okay, right. So there's two actually. There's two I want to do. And they'll both be as bad.
There's two I want to do. So what they are is that I don't know if anybody's ever seen the Beastie Boys Sabotage video, right? It's a phenomenal video. All 70s moustaches, like 70s cops. I think we, as in the staff, should dress up in 70s car suit with fat suits on, like brown leather jackets, polo necks, stuff like that. Big kind of like aviator sunglasses and the moustache with fake guns, and do the Beastie Boys Sabotage, but I'll change the lyrics. I'll rewrite the lyrics in a kind of compliance way. So that's one. So should we do that? I think we should.
So the comments are going to be, who are the Beastie Boys? I've never seen the video. Two things to bear in mind. The Beastie Boys, that song came out, what, late 80s?
Maybe
early 90s?
Early 90s, I would say.
So
yeah.
that's 30 years ago.
I'm showing my age now.
And the 70s, which it was based on, is 50 years ago. We've cut down quite a lot of people who may see that.
Cop shows, it's like, I don't know, stuff like Starsky and Hutch. Did you watch Starsky and Hutch?
I watched the remake.
That's you Philistine.
Yeah, I'm 41 and I'm like kind of too young to
I remember it.
Actually,
David Soul, who played Hutch, died only this year, I think it was.
And how old was he? 97?
I don't know. But anyway, and the second one I want to do is going back to an 80s TV show called Knight Rider.
I did love Knight Rider.
I love Knight Rider. I love it. 5 o'clock on a Saturday. My mum, because we didn't have mobile phones then, we'd all be playing. Do you know what? I'm going to tell you something. When I grew up, I remember specifically one summer, there's a Barrett house in the state being built. And back in those days, They used to leave. There was no gates around the building site, right? And security guards. They'd leave the site open. And we'd be on the roofs of these half-built houses, on like running along the scaffold, and we'd steal. I shouldn't say this, right? But we'd have, right, because it's all fields where I lived, and we'd get bags of like cement, and we'd sand and plasterboards and bricks, and we build like igloo dens.
Right. There'd probably be better quality than the borough homes.
Right? But then you'd be there, and you'd be jumping from roof to roofs on these houses and stuff like that. But I remember my mum would come out, all the parents around about 5 o'clock, and they'd go, Michael, Jonathan, food, and Night Rider's on, like that. And then you'd be running back home then to wash your hands, get your face, and you sit down, I'd have chips and beans watching Night Rider. True story, that.
Back to the Night Rider idea.
So I want you, it's got to be you, dressed up as Michael Knight, so that's as the Hoff.
The David has to be interested.
No, not even Baywatch Hoff. Like Night Rider
Hoff.
So
He was cool.
Orange polo neck, black leather jacket, black bell-bottom jeans.
Do I get to drive a Trans Am, though? That's the question.
And like a curly black wig. And I think you'd be amazing.
It was a Trans Am, wasn't it, the car?
Yeah, it was a Trans Am. Yeah, it was a Trans Am. Was it? Or was it a Corvette?
No, I think it was
a Trans Am was Smokey and the Bandits.
Oh, I don't know. American
Bandits.
cars are shit anyway.
Well, no, I wouldn't mind one of those.
Name one good American car.
Corvette.
No.
Have you seen that really cool?
None of them go around corners, do they?
But it doesn't matter, does it?
Why? Why does it matter go around corners?
All right. So if you drive a rear-wheel Porsche, or BMW, but yeah, exactly. That's the way you do it. That's part of it. Come on, you bought loads of BMWs, or you had an M Sport because of that fact that you could slide. There you go. So you just buy a Corvette for exactly the same reason, or Chevrolet. Is it Chevrolet with the big? No, Mustangs. The Mustang.
Anyway,
and I think, and then we could do a voice of like Kit. What does Kit stand for from Knight Rider?
Something Industries 2000.
Night Industries 2000. There you go. And do you know what the boss's name was in it? He died a couple of years back as well.
No, I remember
Devon Miles.
Devon Miles.
Isn't it really sad that I remember?
He was British, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, and they changed the name of Michael Knight because his name wasn't Knight at the beginning. The first ever pilot episode. He's Michael Long. And he was a detective, different face, different boat race. And then, of course, he had this accident. And they kind of like rebuilt him as Michael Knight. You know, a lone crusader, Michael Knight. That's the brilliant Knight Rider impression.
I think that's the most you're ever going to get on Michael Knight or the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Thank God. I can actually do some work instead.
No, but I think it would be great marketing. I think people would talk about it and take the mick out of it and stuff like that. What will we get from it? I don't know. I don't. And that's the thing. I think that's the thing.
Embarrassment, we definitely get that.
But I think laughing at yourself and, you know, like, pisses me off, right, is that business is really, really serious. Yeah, it should be serious. People want to take it, be more serious than it actually is, right? And it's like, look at LinkedIn, right? And you put a jokey post on there. Is this Facebook? Oh, fuck off, mate. You know what I mean? I don't really give a shit, right? You can do what you want. It's a free country, right? It's a free bloody world, unless you're living in North Korea, but that's another story altogether, right? But just enjoy yourself, you know? And I think, you know, with marketing, with running this business, you know, there's been some really hard and stressful bloody times, which people do not see.
They probably don't want to do that.
They don't want to. So take the shine out. This have fun while we're doing it. You know, this enjoy it. Let's have a meeting and, you know, have fun.
Yeah.
You know, just be relaxed. And if we can't laugh at ourselves dressed up as, you know, 70s cops and rolling around to Beastie Boys Sabotage, which is a great track, by the way.
I just don't think people will laugh if they don't even get the reference. That's the only thing.
Maybe they just watch and they go, what the hell are these guys up to? You know? maybe I should look into this. These are compliance people. You know, I don't want to do it really cheesy. You know, when
how can it not be cheesy?
Because sometimes it's like, I don't know. I see something like I watch Reddit. You know, again, maybe I'm too old, but I look at Reddit and you see like this cringe, like a sub. and some of those things are really bad. You know, really, you can't get much more worse than what TikTok does, surely. Some of that crap on there, and these people just dancing, like, it's just, I don't get it. I don't get that. What's that all about?
I think you're just old.
I am old, but hey, it worked. It's worked. Has it not worked?
Yeah.
There you go. But worked up to this point. So maybe just maybe we do need to take, or we will be taking a slight change in direction, and it goes back to, I think it's all about balance.
Yeah. Sales and marketing has changed, even in our company. You know, I think over the time, it just shows we're talking about it there. It's like, it's bizarre, really, but there's so much new stuff coming all the time that you can't just do it yourself, can you? Over a long time.
No, I can't. You know, and it's good that, you know, we're handing over the reins now to a marketing team, and yeah, we will have a level of oversight on it to a point. I'm hopeful that it'll get to a point that we don't need to kind of sign things off. But you know, people have always said about building a brand is very difficult. I've actually found it quite easy.
I think you've done what you've enjoyed, and I think that's really important sometimes.
But and again, it goes back to it. I've had absolutely zero experience in marketing, none at all whatsoever. The biggest, what's the word I'm looking for? The biggest positive I had, right, was an initial conversation with you, and the conversation went something like this: "I'll take care of the marketing." Anyway. Great. And I went, "Are there any rules?" And he went, "No, you're good at it. Just do what you want." And I went, "Really?" And he went, "Okay, not what you want, but just be careful, yeah?" And I went, "All right, that's good enough for me." And that was it.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is in corporates, they get so worried about offending people, then, you know, that's when it becomes boring and mundane. Aldi's, look at those guys. They've gone to the people who own their X account.
It's Twitter.
Their X account, their Twitter account. You know, those guys, they've obviously said, like, just do what you want. You just do what you want. And like, I think actually there's a lot more behind it. I think the whole marketing experience with Aldi's has been quite phenomenal, you know, because they don't care. They really don't care about ripping off other labels, which I'm not too into with trademarks and stuff. You know, I think stick to your own brand and that's it.
Do you know what though? You look, so obviously they had the famous thing with Marks and Spencer's and
they're doing Thatcher's Cloudy Cider at the moment.
I reckon Marks and Spencer's sold more Colin the Caterpillars after that than before.
This is it.
Then you had Brewdog, who they ripped off theirs, then they tried to do a collaboration. I think probably far more goes on behind the scenes than you relay. I think they probably have conversations to tell people they're going to rip stuff off.
Here's the one, right? Is this absolutely terrible, or is this a stroke of genius? I'm going to say one word.
It's genius.
No, I'm going to say one word about a company out there. Something's happened recently.
Oh, okay.
Jaguar.
If it's an awareness campaign that has got people talking about the brand, and then they've really carefully segmented, yes. The reason I don't think that's the case is because they've said they want to cut off 85% of the market. Now, I would argue they've got no market at the moment because they're not selling any cars.
Especially in London.
Yeah, like, I think they'd have, the heritage, like, it's one of the things. Loads of things die with heritage. We've gone about, didn't you love shopping at Woolworths? It doesn't really matter. You know, like, things die, things change. It's just the way it is.
I really enjoyed
Woolworths. I did. But things change. You only miss them for so long. But
Pick a mix with me.
I think with Jaguar, it's kind of it's not whether they alienate the existing customers. It's whether whatever they think the new market is, whether they get it. I couldn't care less whether it's pink, purple, whoever it appeals to. I just think.
But everybody's talking about it.
You may as well have a new brand, not an existing brand, if you're going to do it. But yeah, everyone's talking about it. It's what they do next that's important, not what they've done so far.
Ah, there you go. So yeah, so I don't know. Maybe they've just pulled the wool over everybody's eyes, and they'll go, "We're only joking," but you spoke about it. I don't know. Who knows? I would kind of like to do that. We do it normally in April, actually.
Yeah, my favorite April, my favorite April Fools that we did was when we did the appliance guys.
Your dad,
my dad, bless him, messaged me, "Congratulations on the new business." I was like, "Dad, check the date, will you?" But the appliance guy, it was brilliant.
We know selling
lots of white goods.
We test ride as well with the horses. You can scan a horse. Yeah, how it is, and a QR code on a horse. And we went, "Wow, that's amazing!" There, yeah, to see if it'd been. What did we say? If it was bred incorrectly or something. Again, love it. Sorry, I'm actually crying. So, okay.
Right, should we go now? Because I've got some actual work to do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So,
comment, like, subscribe, all that boring stuff.